is it going? And a special welcome to Noelle. Noelle, this reading is going to be for you, but anybody else who's interested in watching this video are welcome to follow along with us and watch it. And I'm going to be using the Klimt Tarot for today's reading. And since there's no specific reading type or no question that we are supposed to be focusing on, I'm just going to ask the tarot what today's reading's topic should be. And so I'm just going to shuffle the cards. And by the way, if you're a tarot reader or someone who's only recently started reading the tarot, this is a good way to start a reading if you are not sure where to start or if there's no specific question, because the tarot always seem to know what the real issue is. So I often use this technique for myself and for my clients as well, to just pick one card in the beginning to determine the flow of the reading. And now that I have finished with the shuffling, I'm going to fan the cards. Oops. And I have this feather that I have found and cleaned, and I'm going to be using this feather for this reading to pick the card, the first card. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful feather. As you can see, it is kind of iridescent. I really like it. So let's see which card is going to tell us about the topic of this reading. All right. So, the card in question is the Page of Wands. So, the Page of Wands is about discovering your passion. So, the topic of this reading for you, Noelle, is how you can develop a better connection with your inner child, with that part of yourself that knows how to enjoy life. And sometimes we get disconnected from that aspect of ourselves because we get caught up in all the different responsibilities and problems that need to be solved in our adult lives. So we sometimes lose track of how to have fun. And so the Page of Wands has this very important message to reconnect with that part of us and to experiment with our lives a little bit. So if you feel like you're in kind of a rut, every day feels a little bit the same, and you seem to have lost some of the enthusiasm and excitement about life that you had felt beforehand, then the Page of Wands is here to tell you that you can get back on track with that it's absolutely necessary and it's possible to do it. And let's find out how exactly that's possible. So I'm gonna take the brush and pick some cards to further explain. And in my experience, the Page of Wands is also a card that is connected with the 5 senses. So the fire element is all about our creativity and our sensory abilities. And so the Page of Wands is an agent of heightening the senses. So having a new way of seeing things, a new way of tasting, a new way of hearing music or other people speak. It's that kind of experience when you feel like you hear something for the first time. It's like you see the world for the first time. It's that sense of curiosity and openness. And so let's see how you can invite that part of yourself to come out more. And so we are going to pick one card for, well, actually, I think we can turn this into a 5-element reading. So we're going to get 4 types of advice. The first one is going to be action advice. So that's the fiery advice. What to do right now. Okay. And then let's get some emotional advice. This is water, the element of water. All right. Now let's get some intellectual advice. So, how to think about this. And finally, let's get some practical advice. Earth. All right. Okay. So, let's see what we have. Fire advice. We have the Chariot. Wonderful. Okay. Water advice. We have the Four of Swords. Intellectual advice. Five of Pentacles. And practical advice. We have the Judgment card. That's very exciting. Okay. All right. So to gain some of the spark back and to reinvigorate this part of yourself that we can, for lack of a better term, call the inner child, but we can also just call it the Page of Wands. I think this is why the tarot exists, to be able to speak about certain inner processes and parts of ourselves that don't really have a name, and to just to be able to conceptualize them. So to get more of a Page of Wands energy, what you first need to do, the energy of action, is the Chariot, which is a card of pure action, actually. So action, action, action is key. Just doing things, going out into the world and doing whatever your heart desires to do. And it is important to not overthink it and to not get carried away by some of your fears that I can see showing up in the intellectual advice, the air element. The Five of Pentacles represents a scarcity mentality. And so this card is telling me that one of the reasons why you're a little bit intimidated by your own Page of Wands presence is this feeling of insecurity in a financial sense, in a material sense. The Pentacles connect with the earth element, but this is air. So it's intellectual, it's theoretical. So there's a theoretical tendency or an idea that exists within your consciousness that if you allow yourself to have fun and let loose and enjoy life a little more, then you will become poor, that you will waste your resources, that you're gonna lose what you have, your comfort and your stability. And so this is one of the things that's holding you back. When in actual reality, in the Earth section, we have the Judgment card show up. And it looks kind of grim and scary in this deck, but it's one of the best cards in the tarot. And what it really means is a sense of a revival. So actually, one of the pathways to more financial stability and more long-term success is to rekindle that connection with the Page of Wands. And it is going to lead to a new opportunity for success in the earthy realms. So in terms of a career, in terms of financial resources at your disposal, and your overall material stability. So I can see this dichotomy of you thinking that it's actually dangerous and disadvantageous and wasteful for you to adhere to the desires of the Page of Wands. However, on the actual material plane, it's showing up as a good decision. Because it's bringing refreshed new energies into that part of your life. So it's stirring the pot a little bit, and it's bringing in new people, new pathways, new opportunities for growth. So again, the realm of actions. This is a card that is 100% inviting you to take action, and action of any kind, really. In your situation, to do anything is better than to do nothing. And even if you don't have a detailed plan of how it's going to work out, because the Five of Pentacles is suggesting to me that there's some mental blocks that are keeping you restricted. So even if the plan is not entirely clear in every detail, this card is inviting you to jump into action and to be brave. And emotionally, the Four of Swords is telling me that you're a little bit emotionally distant right now from that part of yourself. So this is just in relation to the Page of Wands. This might not be true necessarily in every aspect of your life. So maybe you have no problem relating to others and maintaining good and rich, emotionally rich relationships with them. But for some reason, your connection with that part of yourself that is a pleasure seeker, because ultimately fire in many ways is about pleasure. It's about being in the moment and having a good time. And so you're emotionally disconnected from that part of you. You're almost denying that part of yourself and becoming a little bit of leading a bit of an ascetic lifestyle, as if that's a word. So kind of like a monk, where you're denying any worldly pleasures of yourself. It's probably not that extreme, but you have a little bit of that going on, where you feel like it would be frivolous or wasteful for you to allow yourself to indulge in the things that the Page of Wands wants to try. So in order to get yourself out of this, the most important advice I think that I can give you is to just swing into action as soon as you can. Being impulsive, being spontaneous, being perhaps a little less concerned with the details of how it's going to work out is definitely a good direction to take in your case, to move forward and to snap yourself out of this this numbness that I'm feeling with the Four of Swords. As you can see, this woman is asleep, so there's dormant emotions, desensitized, kind of unaware. So yeah, I hope that you like this reading, Noelle, and if you have any questions, feel free to write to me. And as promised, I'm going to draw one card, or maybe 1,000 cards. Sorry. Maybe I should just reshuffle the whole deck. That's what I'm gonna do, I think. So I promised, since we had a name jumping at the end of the Patreon draw, and Rachel W had shown up at the end of the draw, and I promised that I was gonna draw one card for her. Let's see her question, which was, I'd like a reading on how to best apply my energy to work that is sustainable and allows me to help people. And I've actually done another reading for her this month with the 10 of Wands. So the idea of preserving or sustaining one's energy is deeply embedded in that card. So the best way to apply your energy to work that is sustainable and allows you to help people. And let me zoom in. It's a beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous card of the Lovers. This is one of Klimt's most famous paintings, I think. The Lovers. Yeah. So, Rachel, this is telling me that you just need to tap into why you started doing this in the first place, this entire career and everything that comes with it, that sometimes generates a level of uncertainty, but at the core of all of it, there's this deep, deep attraction that your soul is feeling. And this is a major arcana card, so there's not even a question that you want to be doing this. And I think the tarot is just reminding you that this is your destiny, that there's nothing else in the world that you're more attracted to doing. If you really think about it, you're doing what you love, and you're doing what you're naturally talented at doing and inclined to do. And there's this deep sense of love for this activity that goes beyond the the temporary setbacks and limitations of whatever life throws at you. So I think the tarot would just like to reinforce the idea that you can rise above any obstacles that you're facing right now. And with the 10 of Wands showing up in our previous reading, I'm sure that you have a lot on your plate right now, and it might feel like it's way too overwhelming. But the Lovers is also telling me that in the end it's all going to be worth it, and it's almost like you don't even have a choice. So there's like an element of fate here. So you're just gonna have to find a way to make it work, because this is how you can express love to mankind, how you can express your love for humanity and for the universe. And as long as you focus your energy on that feeling, the details are eventually going to fall into place. Thank you, Rachel, and thank you, Noelle, for contributing to my channel. Thank you, everyone, for supporting me and for watching this video.